Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to 365 Days of Love and Miracles with A Course in Miracles. My name is Arlene Geres, and I am so glad that you are here. Please remember to listen right until the very end, because we have a special treat for you. And if you enjoyed today's video, please click like and subscribe down below, because this helps others to find us on YouTube. Today's lesson is lesson number 105. God's peace and joy are mine. Do you have God's peace and joy, my friends? We could all use a little bit more of that. Let's go ahead and read today's lesson. God's peace and joy are mine. God's peace and joy are yours. Today we will accept them, knowing they belong to us, and we will try to understand these gifts increase as we receive them. They are not like the gifts the world can give, in which the giver loses as he gives the gift. The taker is richer by his loss. Such are not gifts, but bargains made with guilt. It is impossible that one can gain when another loses. This implies a limit and an insufficiency. Let's talk about it. In God's world, the bounty is endless. It's like we have this incredible smorgasbord in which everything that we could possibly want is laid out for us. And we sit over in the corner with a little tiny box of cereal. We don't even put milk on it. And we're wondering why we feel deprived. Let us share God's love freely. Let us share God's peace freely. Let us share God's joy freely. And when we do this, it grows inside of us. It's a no-lose proposition, my friends. No one loses, everyone gains. In the world of the ego, if I give you something, then I no longer have it. I believe that if I give you something, I deserve something in return. That is not love, my friends. That is called a transaction. But in the world of God, when I give, my bounty increases. A Course in Miracles teaches us how to give freely without any expectation for anything in return. Let's keep reading. No gifts are given thus. Such gifts are but a bid for our more valuable return, a loan with interest to be paid in full, a temporary lending meant to be a pledge of debt to be repaid with more than what was received by him who took the gift. This strange distortion of what giving means pervades all levels of the world you see. It strips all meaning from the gifts you give and leaves you nothing in the ones you take. Let's talk about it. Is that the kind of giving we want, my friends? Do we want to always give expecting something in return? The entire world is based on this system. I give you something, you give me something back. Certainly if we do any financial transaction, we're going to give money in return. When I go to work, and I get money in return. These are all transactions. And of course, we need to survive here on this earth, so I'm not saying that you quit your job. What I am saying, though, is that we learn how to give God's love freely. Maybe it's just a smile at the grocery store. Maybe it's a kind word to someone that we see passing on the street. My favorite place is the elevator, where everybody seems to want to look at their shoes. Like, what's down there? Are we checking out to see if you have nice shoes or what's going on? Let's stop and actually say a kind word to each other. It's so fascinating. When I do that, people look surprised. And particularly anytime that we're in a big city, it's like it's some sort of a taboo that we honor each other's privacy, this little bubble that we have around us, and we don't even smile at each other. We're starting a love revolution here, my friends. Let's change that. Let's be sure to share God's love freely. Let's keep reading. A major learning goal this course has set is reverse your view of giving so you can receive. For giving has become a source of fear, and so you would avoid the only means by which you can receive. Accept God's peace and joy, and you will learn a different way of looking at a gift. God's gifts will never lessen when they are given away. They but increase thereby. Let's talk about it. A major goal of the course is to change the way that we look at giving and receiving. Are you digging it, my friends? Are you grabbing hold of what we're talking about here? Let's change our view of giving and receiving. The Course is telling us that when we give, we receive much more in return. I want to tell you a little story about my friend Susan. She and I have just come back from a trip to Tonalá, which is a little town outside of Guadalajara. This is an incredible town where artisans come from all over Mexico, bringing their crafts to sell at the Tianguis market. We both had all kinds of things that we wanted to buy just to make our homes here a little bit nicer. Susan is a very special person, and she is rich in generosity. She always goes out with money in her back pocket so that it's readily accessible to hand out to the different people that we encounter on the street that she believes just might enjoy the advantages of that money. Now, Susan is richly blessed, and every single time that I experience her generosity, it blessed me. This kind of giving just fills your heart with so much joy, and we just had such a good time laughing at the craziest things, because that kind of giving just fills you up with so much love, so much peace, so much joy, and so much happiness. That kind of joy just overflows, and you want to bless, you want to be generous. What a great example to me. I learned through Susan's example not just to be generous, but to be deliberately generous, to always have money in the back pocket of your jeans to share with someone who you think needs to be blessed with your generosity. It is this kind of giving that A Course in Miracles is talking about. When we give in this way, we are blessed far more than anything than we could possibly give. Let's keep reading. As heaven's peace and joy intensify when you accept them as God's gift to you, so does the joy of your Creator grow when you accept His joy and peace as yours. True giving is creation. It extends the limitless to the unlimited, eternity to timelessness, and love unto itself. It adds to all that is complete already, not in simple terms of adding more, for that implies that it was less before. It adds by letting what cannot contain itself fulfill the aim of giving everything it has away, securing it forever for itself. Let's talk about it. We are literally a piece of God. We have God and all of His riches deep inside of us. So we already have everything. And when we give it away, it simply increases. Isn't it a wonderful thought to think that as we give God's love, joy, peace, and happiness away, not only does it intensify, but God's peace and joy and happiness also increases. Just like the Grinch, our heart grows 10 times larger when we give God's love away. Let's keep reading. Today, accept God's peace and joy as yours. Let Him complete Himself as He defines completion. You will understand that what completes Him must complete His Son as well. He cannot give through loss. No more can you. Receive His gift of joy and peace today, and He will thank you for your gift to Him. Let's talk about it. What completes God completes me as well. When we give God's love and joy and peace away, we experience completion. Not only that, we experience the incredible completion of God because we are part of God. Receive God's gift of joy and peace today, and God will thank you for it. Giving and receiving are the same. We receive God's love, joy, and peace. We give God's joy and peace. This is a never-ending loop in which we are continually giving from a full well, my friends. Let's keep reading. Today, our practice periods will start a little differently. Begin today by thinking of those brothers who have been denied by you the peace and joy that are their right under the equal laws of God. Here you denied them to yourself, and here you must return to claim them as your own. Let's talk about it. Is there anyone that you have been denying God's love, joy, peace, and happiness to, my friends? I would suggest that you stop and think about that. What are you holding back? What has happened? Do you need to do some forgiveness work? If so, ask God to help you to forgive that person, place, thing, or situation. Let us not deny our brothers and sisters the gift of God's love, peace, joy, and happiness. Let us extend it freely to everyone we meet and everyone we can possibly think of today. Let's keep reading. Think of your enemies a little while and tell each one that occurs to you, "My brother, peace and joy I offer you, that I may have God's peace and joy as mine." Thus you prepare yourself to recognize God's gifts to you and let your mind be free of all that would prevent success today. Now are you ready to accept the gift of peace and joy that God has given you? Now are you ready to experience the joy and peace you have denied yourself? Now you can say, "God's peace and joy are mine, for you have given what you receive." Okay, let's do the little practice, my friends. Think of anyone that you have not extended God's joy and peace and happiness towards. And let's fill in the blanks. My brother, my sister, fill in the blank here. Peace and joy I offer you, that I may have God's peace and joy as mine. Go ahead. If there's more than one, just fill in the blank. Let's do it right now. My brother, my sister, peace and joy I offer you, that I may have God's peace and joy as mine. Let's keep reading. You must succeed today if you prepare your mind as we suggest, for you have let all bars to peace and joy be lifted up, and what is yours can come to you at last. So tell yourself, "God's peace and joy are mine," and close your eyes a while and let the voice assure you that the words you speak are true. Let's talk about it. When we send God's joy and peace to everyone on earth, then our joy and peace can only increase. I can feel it as I'm reading through the lesson. I hope you can feel it too. Let's keep reading. Spend your 5 minutes thus with Him each time you can today, but do not think that less is worthless when you cannot give Him more. At least remember hourly to say the words which call to Him to give you what He wills to give and wills you to receive. Determine not to interfere today with what He wills. And if a brother seems to tempt you to deny God's gifts to him, see it but as another chance to let yourself receive the gifts of God as yours. Then bless your brother thankfully and say, "My brother, peace and joy I offer you, that I may have God's peace and joy as mine." What a beautiful way to deal with any upset that we may encounter today, my friends. Let us extend God's love, peace, and joy to absolutely everyone, and particularly those people that we are having any kind of struggle with. Let's talk about our practice periods. We are meant to read or listen today's lesson first thing in the morning, last thing just before we go to sleep. Think of everyone that we can possibly think of, and let's send them God's peace, joy, and happiness. Then we want to think of anyone that we're holding even the smallest grievance towards, and say again, "My brother, peace and joy I offer you, that I may have God's peace and joy in return." Every hour, we are asked to take 5 minutes, but if we cannot afford 5 minutes, to at least stop for a minute or two and simply say, "My brother, peace and joy I offer you, that I may have God's peace and joy in return." Dear brothers and sisters that are watching this video, I want you to receive what I am sending you today. I'm thinking about you as I do these videos. My brother, my sister, peace and joy I offer you, that I may have God's peace and joy in return. Thanks so much for listening right until the end, my friends. If you enjoyed today's video, please share the love. Encourage your friends to read or listen to the lessons starting at lesson 1 and only doing 1 lesson a day. Are you ready for our special treat?
I just love Mexico with all the beautiful sights, the beautiful colors. This is an especially pretty street. It's close to cars, but not to motorcycles. Here we have just a fabulous mural such incredibly talented people.
Have a peaceful and joyful day, my friends. I love you.